Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari 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 Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jayo Radha Madhav, Jayo Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Jayo Radha Madhav, Jayo Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Jayo Radha Madhav, Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev. Gaur Premanande, Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Pajakacharya, Ashtot Sadhmajanga Dachan Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Guru Vrinda ki jai. Shri Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiret Nashta Prayeshta Basreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, Text 14 and 15. This is actually a very important part in the Srimad Bhagavatam 4th Canto, because Prithu Maharaj is Vishnu himself, Vishnu's incarnation, but he is being told by Lord Vishnu himself what he should do, what he should not do, and things like that. So, this is actually the weekly Bhagavatam series, right? Not the Sunday ones. Or is it a chosen one? Weekly one, right? Okay, because I don't think everyone is following this on a daily basis. So this group is all daily group then? Or is there anybody else who is attending? Only daily group? Okay, because I don't know whether everyone knows the context of what we are talking, because this is a very important thing. We learn a lot more in this. A very interesting part here, because we know that whenever the prajas do any sinful activity, 1/6 of that will go to the king or the head of the state. We have not heard the other part of it. If you do pious activities, 1/6 of the pious activities go to the head. That's actually being mentioned here. It is not normally discussed, so we'll try to actually understand that part. But before that, we'll try to actually make the prayers to the spiritual masters and get their blessings. Okay. Om Ajnanathimirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamsha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratithe Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this fourth canto is called Creation of the Fourth Order. The first time I actually read this Srimad Bhagavatam, each chapter name is actually unique. The previous chapter is called Status Quo, not chapter, the canto name. So this canto is called Creation of the Fourth Order. I said, what do you mean by Creation of the Fourth Order? I always thought fourth order means Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. I thought like, why is it actually a canto like that is mentioned? And when I read this, I couldn't understand why actually it's called like this. Then later on, actually, when I heard our Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, so he mentioned, and there's many explanations given. One of the reasons mentioned is that the first creation order is actually Krishna himself. The second one is Brahmaji. Third one is obviously Brahma's children, that is Manu, Daksha, their activities. The fourth one is the children of Daksha and the Manus. So this whole thing is all about their activities, their creation. What did they do? How did they expand the entire universe and things like that? So then that's why it's named like that. So but then there's a mix little bit here and there. But sometimes the chapter name, the canto name doesn't actually directly correlates with the content. But that's the gist of it. What should I get if you understand what is this canto talking about? That activities of the fourth generation, fourth level. That's called fourth order. So we all know in this chapter, in this canto, actually there's like Sati, Daksha, all those explanations are there. Then after that, in the previous, it's not there in this book, the previous chapter is all about how Prithu Maharaj starts doing this sacrifice, horse sacrifice. And we're wondering like, why did he do horse sacrifice? Because if you see the background around the whole thing, I start from Vena. You all know King Vena, right? That's normally known. King Vena actually was very inimical fellow. He was saying that I am God, because Naradevata means I am God, as good as God, to worship me, don't worship anything. No, nothing is required, no yajna is required and things like that. So he started doing that. So when he started doing that, the sages and the rest of them became very angry and then killed him, right? Just by mantras they killed him. After that there was no king. They had to get a king. So by the mantric power, they actually got Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj came out of the body of Vena. Of course, there was other byproducts also there, but King Vena came out of the body of Vena, King Prithu Maharaj. So Prithu Maharaj, his first duty as a king was to make sure the earth was okay, right? Earth was not okay at that point in time. What was the problem? Earth was not yielding anything. It was not giving vegetables. Not like today, you see the water problem is there. So many things were there. So earth was not providing anything because general population had become very sinful. They were not listening to the Lord, but then they were praying for mercy. Many times we also do that. We pray for the mercy of the Lord, but we don't do what the Lord wants us to do. So that is, these pages of Bhagavatam, Prabhupada gives a lot of examples. We'll read the purport, you'll know. So many things he gives about the head of the state, how should they behave and things like that. So Prithu Maharaj first found out what was the real reason. He went behind earth saying that, okay, you are not yielding, people are not able to do any yajna, because they don't do any yajna, they will not get any phal or fruit, and because of which people will suffer. So please, he asked politely, please help. She did not listen. Prithu Maharaj became very angry and chastised her, and then she told what to do, and that's how actually you'll find some so many things like, okay, the Lord used Prahlad as the vessel, and then what do you call, all the Daityas are the calf and things like that. You got all the, whatever is necessary, you got it. So he set up whatever is necessary for general population. After that, immediately in the previous chapter, it's like Prithu Maharaj started 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas, or sacrifice. The link is not mentioned. Why did he do it? That's there in Padma Puran. There basically because the sages said that when you set up everything's order, everything is available in abundance, everything is there, but people should also follow. That means people should follow the goal of life. I'm being given all the facilities, but if the facilities are given and not used properly, again there will be misuse. That portion is not there in the Bhagavatam, but that's in Padma Purana, which says that the sages said the best way to bring everyone under control is to do the Saja Rajasuya Yajna or the Ashwamedha Yajna. So they said, let's do the Ashwamedha Yajna. So that one Ashwamedha is not enough, because if it's a small problem, they okay, the 6 kings are there in the entire universe. To just catch them, it's sufficient to do one Ashwamedha Yajna. But if you have to catch hold of everybody, train across everyone, then you need so many Ashwamedha Yajnas, because all the kings have to become subservient to the emperor, that is Prithu Maharaj. So he did so many sacrifices. But these are very powerful sacrifices. In Ashwamedha Yajna, you get so much of piety. It's a fruitive sacrifice. That means you do some activity, and after that you get a lot of result. And if you don't do it in the proper way, you get a bad result. But if you do it in the right way, you get a lot of piety. That means you get so much of piety that you can ask for anything you want. So he became more and more qualified, and as he became more and more qualified, who became little worried? King Indra became worried, because it is said he had done 100 sacrifices, 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas, and he didn't want anyone to actually go beyond that. Because if somebody goes beyond that, then they get qualified for that position. If you understand it, Indra does in every episode somewhere, Indra gets involved, and whenever Indra gets involved, you find that he does some mischief, right? Either something he does and gets cursed here and there. You'll be wondering, like, then why does the Lord not banish him? In the sense, Vishnu, Lord Shiva, all of them seems to be protecting him all the time. So anytime he fights with the asuras, or he does any mischief for that matter, he does so much of mischief, sometimes gets cursed by the sages, but Vishnu and Lord Shiva always protect him. You'll always wonder, like, why is that like this? Because we should understand that role of Indra is not an easy thing to play. It's very difficult. Why? Because he has all the powers. Someone who actually has a lot of material desires but highly pious, they get this position of Indra. I mean, they do a lot of pious activities, they get qualification to do whatever they want. And because of all these pious activities they do, they get this position of Indra. You get all the powers of controlling everybody. He is the supreme controller for normal people. All the devatas report to him. So anything, normally what we need for general living, you need air, sunlight, moonlight, fire, food, anything for that matter, for general living. Indra is actually in charge of it, because he controls all these different departments. Now, because he has a lot of powers, he also has to manage all these apsaras, they dance, right? Someone has to appreciate their dancing, right? If everyone says, no, I don't want, I'm getting scared and all. So he does that, and he's playing with all the material nature, energies in the material nature. Because he plays with the material nature, he gets implicated. Once in a while, he does a mistake. And because of the mistake, he gets cursed or he gets into trouble. So his position is such that if somebody is doing more Ashwamedha Yajnas or something more pious, he has every right to actually cut them off. As long as they don't exceed, he is good in his position. Otherwise, they will take over his position. So, but he is given that freedom. You do whatever you want. If they exceed your power, then they take the role. So imagine if someone who is actually, I remember my classmate, one of them in PU, he wrote both engineering and medicine exams and got around top 10 in both. So I asked him, normally either engineering you will be excelling or medical you will be excelling. How did you actually get both? So he told me that I was interested in writing the exams and then just getting the top. I was not interested in engineering or medicine. Some people of that kind are there. Sometimes they just want to excel in anything they take. Whether they are interested or not, but whatever they keep hand, they'll do a perfect job in that. Indra is of that kind. He has done so much of pious activities. Whatever pious activities, he's done it and then he's got the position now. He also has this power to disturb the person who is competing with them. If somebody is actually coming up, he can actually go and do something. He sends the apsaras, otherwise he appear and say, what do you want? Normally people want only this, right? What do they want? Dharma, artha, kama. These are the only things they want. So Indra has the power to give it. So he can give it and then they'll be happy and then they'll stop there. So unless somebody actually really wants to get the position of Indra or go beyond that, right? Then he gets scared. So then he gets involved to correct them. And that's okay. Sometimes you will find it, but this is a contrast, total contrast between Krishna consciousness and then general lifestyle. Because you see Indra, he's trying to cut off people. Prithu Maharaj has done 99 sacrifices of horse, Ashwamedha Yajna. The 100th one is supposed to do, if he does that, he'll become equal to Indra, and if he does anything more than that, then he excels Indra and he can be given the position of Indra. Now, Indra doesn't want that because same thing, right? He will take over the position. There is this, in the Gita Mahatmya, Lord Shiva mentions one of the stories wherein someone who was reading the Bhagavad Gita, fifth chapter alone, every day, he got a position of Indra. One lifetime you have to chant 5th chapter alone, you get the position of Indra next lifetime. Very powerful. Just 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So it's so powerful. So this Indra, what he did, he stole the horse. Right? He didn't want the horse sacrifice to be done, so he stole it. Prithu Maharaj, son, actually tried to find out who did this, and then he got Indra. And it went on like that. Indra did not want him to do the 100 sacrifices, and he did every damn thing to obstruct it. That means he took different sannyas dress, stole the horse. Every time he got caught, Prithu Maharaj became very angry. He became so angry that he wanted to kill Indra, saying that you are introducing so many unrighteous sannyasi dresses. Sometimes people wear blue color, red color, right? Some which is not actually allowed in our Varnashma system. All were introduced by Indra is what Bhagavatam mentions. And Prithu Maharaj wanted to stop. Then immediately Brahmaji appeared and said, no, stop at 99 because the 100 sacrifice you do, Indra becomes more and more angry, so better you stop at 99. So Indra actually had stopped this 99 and Ashwamedha had 99 sacrifices. So, but still Prithu Maharaj had so much of power. Now the 100 sacrifice he did not do. Since he did not do the 100 sacrifice, he will always feel that I am not successful in my vow. So Vishnu himself appeared and told him, no, you have been successful, don't worry, because your intention of doing this sacrifice is different. It is not to actually take the role of position of Indra, but bring everybody into the Varnashma system so that they can all serve me. Now Indra has also come, you please pardon him, okay? Because at 99 only you are successful, not even 100th one. So you don't have to worry. So that is actually this chapter, Lord Vishnu's appearance in sacrificial arena, that the 100 sacrifice not yet done, still Prithu Maharaj is going to get whatever he is looking for. Now, whenever Vishnu appears alone in front of a devotee, there is actually an exchange of bhava, right? Loving exchanges are there. That Vishnu actually starts crying out of love. The devotee also, like Krpamaya and Vishnu, there are only two of them. You will find that in the 3rd canto. But whenever Lord appears in a group, when a lot of people are sitting and doing, Vishnu does not come and show that kind of emotions. He will only come and preach. Just like whenever you call a devotee home, the devotee takes the opportunity to preach to the rest of them because not all of them are pure devotees there. Sometimes some are pure devotees, some of them are practicing devotees, they are new devotees, somebody are completely new, they don't know what it is. But all of them are assembled. So Vishnu comes and starts telling the last 13 verses is all about that. Vishnu is actually telling Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj is incarnation of Vishnu. Why should he tell him all these things? He's telling, what do you call? It's a very interesting chapter. He's telling all this different thing. That because Indra is also here, he has disturbed your execution of 100 sacrifices. Now he has come, please forgive him. Vishnu himself is telling. See, again Vishnu is protecting Indra. Although Indra made a mistake. You can see this, how again and again you see that Indra is always protected by Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu. I also understood from Padma Purana one important aspect that um, there are people who worship Vishnu also for material desires. They'll meditate for a long time. And in the material world, Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu are equally powerful. Whatever Lord Vishnu can give, Lord Shiva can also give. But Lord Shiva gets pleased earlier than Vishnu. That is why they worship Lord Shiva faster. Many a times there is the stories in Padma Purana there where people ask for the same thing that they are asking for Lord Shiva from Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu actually sanctions such. For example, I want to be the greatest king. I want to be the greatest king. And Vishnu provides it, okay, fine. You can actually get that kind of. After worshipping for many, many millions and trillions of years on Vishnu, you go and ask him something which is so not very useful. But Vishnu also provides that, right? But Bhagavatam very clearly says, those who actually are worshipping Vishnu, they get hearts purified. But if you don't get a spiritual master in between, you continue to worship Vishnu alone with that mindset, then it will not work. That's the difference. Because even in Dhruva Maharaj's case, Narad intervened. Because although he had a desire that he wanted to get a kingdom greater than his grandfather, Brahmaji, he still got it, whatever he wants, and Vishnu actually provided him. Now, in this episode, if you read this either in the morning or evening, you will feel sleepy because this is all about Vishnu not talking any bhav. It's like Ishopanishad. Ishopanishad you read any time, you will get sleep. But if you actually read about pastimes of Krishna, the gopis' pastime, how Krishna actually dealt with them, you will not get sleep. You will feel very happy because there is an emotion there. Whenever there is emotion, you don't get sleep. Whenever there is philosophy, you will get sleep because philosophy will hit our ego. It will correct our ego, and it's natural that. And Prabhupada wanted this. There's a nice pastime that in Holland, one yogi came to Prabhupada and told him, he came to Prabhupada and said, you are brainwashing all these people and you are able to brainwash all these people because of only one reason. You are making them get up early in the morning. By 8 o'clock, they're already like mind is gone. Like, body is separate, soul is separate like that. Because people, Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshana ki Jai, they are in a completely different mindset that they are tired, right? So they can easily be molded. Yeah? And Prabhupada saw him, all these things, and all the devotees were actually a little surprised. No one had actually told Prabhupada like this. And Prabhupada said, yes. So the yogi said, that means you are conditioning them like this. You are not giving them freedom. You are conditioning them like this. Prabhupada told them, yes, I am conditioning them like this. Eventually this becomes their constitutional life. From conditional life, it become constitutional for them. But in your case, and he told Prabhupada that I smoke cigarette today, anytime I can throw it off. I am not attached to cigarette. Prabhupada said, you will be conditioned to smoke cigarette all the time. Prabhupada was very angry that he actually brought in this point. Sometimes the acharyas are because the devotees don't understand these aspects. Sometimes we'll be wondering like, okay, is this really freedom? We are forcing ourselves to do it. And all through their life they actually get forced. What does it mean? But Prabhupada said, if you follow this, what I have given, this becomes your constitutional position. It becomes natural for you, and then naturally your love will start blossoming. Have faith. Prabhupada actually mentioned this. So here Narayan, Vishnu actually is coming and telling that those who are properly situated in transcendental knowledge, that is, I am not the body, I am the soul, and there is a relation between me and the super soul. And in that mindset, we actually worship the Lord. We do our occupation duty and worship the Lord both together. Then eventually they will become very, very peaceful and they will be satisfied. Because they are satisfied, they will not be attracted by anything, they will not ask for anything. So here, Vishnu is actually training both of them. He is training Prithu Maharaj also. In name of Prithu Maharaj, he is training all of us and all the people assembled there. And he is also telling Indra, what is the solution for Indra? You have to handle all these people, but because you are not actually worshipping me with transcendental love, you are doing it because you want to enjoy the material world. That's why you are getting affected every now and then. So he explained all these things, and it goes on up to the 13th sloka, The 13th sloka is also interesting, says it's a long one. My dear king, the constant change of this material world is due to the interaction of the three modes of material nature. The five elements, the senses, the demigods who control the senses, as well as the mind, which is agitated by the spirit soul, all these taken together comprise the body. Since the spirit soul is completely different from this combination of gross and subtle material elements, my devotee, who is connected with me in intense friendship and affection, being completely in knowledge, is never agitated by material happiness and distress. This is for actually Indra, saying that everything's happening here, everything's being the three modes of material nature is actually interacting. And if you actually have intense friendship for me, you will not actually get disturbed by this. He mentions thus, and then the 14th sloka comes. This is actually today's verse. This is the background, okay? Now we will actually talk about today's. Is that actually the one there? Okay. Shreya prajapalanam eva rajno yat samparaye sukrutat sashtam amsham hartan yata hrita punya prajanam arakshita karaharo gaham atti. Translation: to give protection to the general mass of people who are citizens of the state is the prescribed occupational duty for a king. By acting in that way, the king in his next life shares 1/6 of the result of the pious activities of the citizens. Yeah, if somebody else, if you're actually going to help, because I'll read and then explain, it's a long purport. If you're actually going to help somebody else become Krishna conscious, 1/6 of that will come to you. That is the advantage when you actually are serving. I learned something very new. I'll talk about the Seva Bhav. In the beginning days, I thought Seva Bhav means just service attitude to the Lord. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned Seva Bhav means Bhakti Seva Bhav. Meaning, it's just not service attitude. Always think about, is others also doing service? You have to help them do devotional service. You should not think that my service is the only best service to the Lord. If you think about the entire people around you, helping them also to serve Lord, that actually is service attitude. Otherwise, many people always come and tell me that I'm anyways doing service, why should I read all these things? Because the attitude is not clear. They're only doing service. That alone is not sufficient to take you back to Godhead. So this is a very interesting, if you help others become Krishna conscious, you get 1/6. If you make 10 people become Krishna conscious and help them in any way, imagine how much credit you get. By acting in that way, the king in his next life shares 1/6 of the result of the pious activities of the citizens. But a king or executive head of state who simply collects taxes from the citizens but does not give them proper protection as human beings has the results of his own pious activities taken away by the citizens. And in exchange for his not giving protection, he becomes liable to punishment for the impious activities of his subjects. Prabhupada perverts is eye-opening so much, always. But Prabhupada says this is the same case with spiritual masters and also parents. Before becoming parents, one should know these are things. If you don't train your children, then your pious credits will go away. Amazing. 3 things. One is 1/6 of the pious credits of a person who is following dharma under you, the king or the person who's managing will get. I mean, the president of a temple will get 1/6 of the credit if they do this properly. And if you don't train them, your pious credits will go. And after that, in exchange, because he is not trained, you will get punishment for the impious activities of the subjects. Very powerful. The question may be raised here that if everyone engaged in spiritual activities to attain salvation and became indifferent to the activities of the material world, then how could things as they are go on? And if things are to go on as they ought to, how can a head of state be indifferent to such activities? In answer to this question, the word Shreya, auspicious, is used here. The division of activities in society as arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead was not blindly or accidentally created, as foolish people say. The Brahmana must do his duty properly, and the Kshatriya, the Vaishya, and even the Shudra must do the same. And every one of them can achieve the highest perfection of life, liberation from this material bondage. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Sve Sve Karmani Abhirataha Samsiddhim Labate Naraha. By executing one's prescribed duties, one can attain the highest perfection. That's from Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter. So, the purport Prabhupada first starts, if everyone actually is thinking about liberation and do only this. For example, when early days in 1974, in one of the morning walks in Harishwari Prabhu's book mentioned that one devotee came and told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what if everyone in the world become Krishna conscious and goes back? What will happen to this world? Prabhupada, the way he answered was he didn't actually give this answer. Here, Prabhupada is actually telling, you should do your duty. Along with the duty, you should worship Vishnu. Sve sve karmani abhirataha samsiddhim labhate naram. If you serve, if you do your occupation duty and also worship Vishnu side by side, then this is possible. You get perfection. But Prabhupada told him, if everybody goes back to Godhead, the world will still go on. You don't have to worry about it. You simply chant Hare Krishna. Sometimes devotees come and ask questions which is like, if everyone becomes Krishna conscious, then what will happen to the world? Who will take care of all these things and all? We don't have to bother. The material nature actually has enough people to inspire to do things on their own. We don't have to actually really be worried about what's happening in the world. We're sometimes actually overly concerned about the world when we don't know who we are, first of all, right? A king thinking like this makes sense. An ordinary person thinking about it, it's not actually a very good thing. Prabhupada was saying, you are not even chanting your rounds properly. Why are you concerned about the whole creation, whether others going or not? You go. You think about how you can go back to Godhead. Don't think about how others will go back to Godhead. You think about yourself first. Prabhupada mentioned that. And then here Prabhupada mentioned the purport that Brahmanas must do their duty. Everyone, all the 4 classes, Varnashma, they have to do their duty. If they don't do their duty, then the world won't run the way it has to run. Right? The king has to do his duty. Now here in Prabhupada also mentions that the Varnashma system is meant for those who actually are not in the platform of love for Krishna. But this is actually good if you want to actually make progress. Because anything else will actually pull you down. Now, the second paragraph, it's pretty interesting here. Lord Vishnu advised Maharaja Prithu that a king is not enjoined to give up his kingdom and the responsibility of protecting the prajas or citizens to instead go away to the Himalayas for liberation. He can attain liberation while executing his royal duties. How? Because general mass of people do 1/6 you get, bus exchange it. In next life you get 1/6. You don't even know, I did my duty so you get it. Many a times people actually tell, if you actually follow your own dharma at home, why do you have to follow all those things? But the problem is people are not following the dharma. If people were following the dharma, that means at 50 years, people should actually leave all these things and then proceed towards vanaprastha, basically proceed towards becoming attracted to liberation and things like that. But they are not doing it. So how will you actually say that you are going to get 1/6 of it? People are still actually doing all the karmic activities. That will not help them. The royal duty or the duty of the head of state is to see that the prajas or the general mass of people are doing their respective duties for spiritual salvation. A secular state does not necessitate a king or head of state who is indifferent to the activities of the prajas. In the modern state, the government has many rules and regulations for conducting the duties of the prajas, but the government neglects to see that the citizens advance in spiritual knowledge. If the government is careless in this matter, the citizens will act whimsically without any sense of God realization or spiritual life and thus become entangled in sinful activities. Yeah, because no God realization, obviously you will get used to whatever you are following. And interestingly, Kali Yuga is actually a little worse because there is a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the Kali Kukur Kadan. The Kali Kukur Kadan, it is mentioned that Kali is like a dog-like personality because he cheats. One has to be fearful of Kali because Kali cheats. What is this cheating? Basically, if you are doing something dharma, then it's fine. But adharma, he tells, it's normal, don't worry. If you're following adharma, everyone else is following adharma. So, relative grading, right? Imagine, I don't know how many of you have done engineering. In engineering, they have this auditing and crediting kind of, and it's called relative grading. In relative grading, what happens is, you write exam, and if everybody fails, all of them are given either a chance again, or whoever is actually the maximum person, they get, even if they get only 2 marks, that fellow becomes a topper. And the rest of them, if they get even half a mark, they also are passed. That's called relative grading. So Kali makes us think that meat eating, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex is normal. It's their personal life. Why are you worried about it? See what they are doing for others, how much they are doing. But this is not what it is. In the Varnashma system, your personal sadhana is valued first. Before becoming a leader, you have to show your behavior. After behavior, you become a leader. Not the other way around. Whereas in the modern society, first you become a leader, and after that you start correcting all your behaviors. Because others are watching, so you have to be like this. They don't have any experience. And this is a very interesting point that we have to understand. But if the government is careless about spiritual matter, which is the case, this is what will happen. If our system is such that, Radha Krishna was telling that whole Ram temple came, right? So many people were chanting Lord Ram's name. Imagine you do this multiple times. How much changes will come in the consciousness? This is what he was trying to do. Prithvi Maharaj was doing it 99 times, the horse sacrifice, because whenever you do a horse sacrifice, so many things happens, so many festivals happen, people have to chant, people have to actually obey the orders of the king, and things like that. You can easily bring everybody under control so that Varnashma system can be set. It's not so easy because the king is not all that powerful. An executive head should not be callous to the welfare of the general mass of people while he simply goes on collecting taxes. The king's real duty is to see that the citizens gradually become fully Krishna conscious. Krishna conscious means completely free of all sinful activities. As soon as there is complete eradication of sinful activities in the state, then there will be no more war, pestilence, famine or natural disturbances. So water problem is there because of same thing. People are very sinful, and as Prabhu was telling, Vegetation Prabhu was telling that the whole area of Belandur, Sajapur Road, there's like too much of sinful activities going on. Live-in relationship, drinking and things like that. So, water problem more there. Some portion of Karnataka is not all that affected. Not all places affected. So this is the thing. If you actually have sinful activities, then reactions are bound to come. You are going to suffer. There's no other way out. People say that only for this, please protect us, please give us mercy. But you're not following. You're not becoming sinless. As long as you're not sinless, Krishna will not listen. That's the difference between Krishna and Lord Shiva. Sometimes Lord Shiva is called Dharma Vatsala and Krishna is called Bhakta Vatsala. So what is the difference? See, basically Krishna will actually get attracted only to those who are his devotees. If you follow Dharma, okay, others will take care. He is not too concerned. Lord Shiva, even if you follow little bit Dharma, that means one of the Dharma is that get up early in the morning, take a bath. You do that, Lord Shiva becomes happy. You are following Dharma. If you follow a little bit of Dharma, he becomes happy. So that's why he's called Dharma Vatsala, because he is trying to bring everybody to the path of Varnashma system, so that they actually follow the Dharma. Little bit you do, he gets happy with them. But Lord Vishnu, unless until you show bhakti bhav, like bhava towards the Lord, affection for the Lord, intense friendship for the Lord, he will not even look at you. That's how it is. Okay. This was actually prevailing during the reign of Maharaja Yudhishthira. If a king or head of the government is able to induce the citizens to become Krishna conscious, then he is worthy to rule over the mass of people. Otherwise, he has no right to levy taxes. If the king looks after the spiritual interests of the citizens, he can levy taxes without difficulties. In this way, both the subjects and the king will be happy during this life, and in the next life, the king will be able to share 1/6 of the pious activities of the citizens. Otherwise, by levying taxes on the sinful citizens, he will have to share the reactions of their sinful activities. So now, the question would be, what if the king is not able to control people and do this? He has to use force. He has to use force to make them control. Prabhupada mentioned even a spiritual master and husbands or father should take care of the people who are depending on them like this. If they don't do that, if they do that, 1/6 you get. Otherwise you don't get. Sometimes people say, normally the husband, wife, they fight, wife doesn't listen to husband, still I get half of my karma will go, your pious activities come. It doesn't work like that. Unless you follow all the rules and regulations, it doesn't come like that. The husband has to be really qualified, number one, and the wife have to subsequently serve them for a qualified husband. Not that you do anything you want and still say 50% of my karma will come to you. Nothing like that. So then they can actually evade taxes. No one follows all these things. The same principle can be applied to parents and spiritual masters as well. Prabhupada mentioning this. If parents simply give birth to children like cats and dogs, but cannot save their children from imminent death, they become responsible for the activities of their animalistic children. How heavy words Prabhupada is using. Right? In the Western world, this is not actually, because they really don't differentiate between cats and dogs. Like cats and dogs also goes in car along with the people, right? But in India it was very heavy. In one of the Pandal program, one fellow came and told Prabhupada after the program that, Swamiji, this is all fine, but then your words are very heavy. How can you compare somebody's children to cats and dogs? Right? It's very heavy. Your purports are so heavy that you're comparing a child. It's not that so bad that they are like cats and dogs. Prabhupada actually asked them, does your child know what self-realization is? He said, he was quiet for some time. He didn't know, he himself didn't know. So Prabhupada asked the other disciples, what is self-realization? So they said, understanding God and us, what is the different relationship and serving. So that's called self-realization. Prabhupada turned told him, do you know what is self-realization? He was quiet. You don't know, your child also doesn't know. Is that correct? And that fellow was quiet for some time and he was slightly nodding. Said, turned toward the devotee, said, does a cat know self-realization? The dog knows self-realization. Said, no. Said, so what is the difference? Said, devotees were very happy because there's no difference, Prabhupada. Said, see, my disciples are telling there's no difference between cats and dogs and your child. And you were more angry, why did I ask this question? You opened, he said, your child, no difference. So that is why Prabhupada uses, if somebody dies without self-realization, without understanding who God is, who we are, what is the relationship, and building that kind of a relationship all through life, such children are like cats and dogs because they are not going to be saved. Very heavy. If you actually, when parents read this, right, you will feel very disturbed. Because when you are not married, you will not feel it. You enjoy these purports. Yes, these are like, but when you get married and say your child doesn't follow what you are telling to become Krishna conscious, they will be really worried, like, what is this? How do I make them Krishna conscious? It becomes very, very tough. Lately, such children are turning into hippies. Similarly, if a spiritual master cannot direct his disciples to become free of sinful activities, he becomes responsible for their sinful acts. These subtle laws of nature are unknown to the present leaders of society, since the leaders of society have a poor fund of knowledge and the citizens in general are rogues and thieves. How heavy words there. Citizens are actually, a general, are rogues and thieves. There cannot be an auspicious situation for human society. At the present moment, the whole world is full of such an incompatible combination of state and citizens, and therefore there is constant tension, war and anxiety as an inevitable result of such social conditions. As long as people are kept in the sinful way of life, when Prabhupada says general people are rogues and thieves, why does he say rogues and thieves? General people, one who knows nothing, because they are using Krishna's property without acknowledging. If you go into somebody else's house and take whatever they have kept and eat and not even acknowledge them, are you a thief or not? And that is a mentality. Harishwar Prabhu asked Prabhupada, what does it really mean? Why did we use this? Because neither the previous acharyas have used such heavy words. Prabhupada has used because it's very relevant to this age. In the olden, when Sripad Ramanujacharya, Sripad Madhvacharya used to be there, people were not like this. That is why in their writings, there's nothing of this kind mentioned. But Prabhupada's examples are all like very heavy words, like cats, dogs, right? Rascal, some even very heavy words Prabhupada used. In the morning walks, if you see the conversation, Prabhupada would use this topless civilization. Very heavy words these are, like, it's not easy for the youngsters will like it. But old people who are little knowledgeable and all say, oh, why is Swamiji using such heavy words? This is like very difficult for people to digest. Are we such bad people? Prabhupada says, yes, if you are not Krishna conscious, you are very bad. Prabhupada used to have this SR, SR, simply rascal. Early days, when Prabhupada actually started the movement, they had only two things. Either you are in Maya or in Krishna consciousness. There is nothing in between. So Prabhupada would actually ask them, and they only brought up this concept because Prabhupada in the conversations would actually have this, if they don't follow some things. Today I am not able to get up for Mangalarati, he says, you are a rascal. So they thought that's a nice way. If somebody is not following, you're a rascal. Right? So they brought in this concept of simply rascal. So when Prabhupada used to go for morning walks, they will come in with discussion that so and so person who is supposed to be the head of this industry had come to see Prabhupada the previous day. And Prabhupada would actually talk to him, and after that they would actually ask Prabhupada, what did you find about that person? And Prabhupada would say, simply rascal. So it became a common one, right? Whenever this immigration people used to come, because Prabhupada's disciples, many of them were actually foreigners, right? So when their immigration papers had to be checked and things like that, Prabhupada used to be in his room and writing, and then whenever these people came, they would bring him to Prabhupada. First they would speak to Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada would brainwash them, in the sense they would give them a message, then after that things will become very light. Otherwise they'll say, you don't have your immigration paper, how can you actually be in India, and things like that. They'll question a lot. So they would go inside and say, Prabhupada said, yes, SR man has come. Only Prabhupada understood. Prabhupada and then the disciples had their slangs, what you call, like abbreviations, only they could understand. Jayadas Swami Maharaj was telling that no one could understand what SR man means. Means simply rascal. They'll come and only find fault, good for nothing. Because even his spiritual master, Prabhupada's spiritual master also used to be like that. He used to actually have this shortcut, but he was very heavy, and he had his own slangs, mostly Bengali slangs, not English ones. But Prabhupada had, because Western disciples, Prabhupada used English slangs, simply rascal. And same thing, what about devotees? Prabhupada will say simply wonderful. Prabhupada had this connect, and they got attracted to Prabhupada so much because of these things. Anyways, so unless until people think they want to actually solve the water problem, it's not because of lacking of, it's because of sinful activities. They have to change their mindsets. Simply going in front of the Lord and say, okay, my Lord, please solve the problem, water problem. Lord is not going to even bother. You follow what I am asking to you. He may even say, I did not do anything, Mother Nature is doing. Actually speaking, Prabhupada gives an example, very simple example, right? If father is not being obeyed by the children, what would mother do? Mother would actually beat the child, saying that, listen to your father. So Mother Nature is like that. Unless until you serve Vishnu properly, Mother Nature is not going to agree to serve. So one by one she's cutting all the facilities, right? People struggle so much. So the next is the 15th shloka. How much time do we have? Okay, we'll finish and I have some questions. Okay. The next shloka. Lord Vishnu continued, my dear King Prithu, if you continue to protect the citizens according to the instructions of the learned Brahmana authorities, as they are received by the disciplic succession, by hearing from master to disciple, and if you follow the religious principles laid down by them, without attachment to the ideas manufactured by mental concoction, then every one of your citizens will be happy and will love you. And very soon, you will be able to see such already liberated personalities as the four Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana and Sanat Kumara. Actually, this four Kumaras is not there in the shloka. If you see the shloka, there is no mentioning of, only mentioning of Siddhan, perfected personalities will appear. There is no mentioning of Kumaras coming, but they will come in the future. Prabhupada has already put it here to give a reference of what kind of personalities can be expected. If we follow strictly Krishna conscious principle given by Prabhupada, automatically our spiritual master will search and come to us. This is actually the internal meaning. Because one time Harishwari Prabhu asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, when you actually say, right now you actually are there as our spiritual master, in the future how does all this thing work? That if you are very sincere and you continue to serve the previous acharyas carefully, spiritual master will search and come to you. Then he asked him, how do you identify the spiritual master? Prabhupada said, he will catch you. They will come and then catch you, so don't worry about it. And again, Tamal Krishna Maharaj came in, they all started having discussion, Jayapata Maharaj, all of them. This happened in Mayapur. They said, like, how do we really know that they are going to catch us? Because what if we don't understand and escape from that place? They all discussed that, but they never went and asked Prabhupada that question. That question remained like that. They couldn't actually ask Prabhupada. I didn't see that answer anywhere. For example, if the spiritual master comes, how do I identify him? Okay, he comes and engages you in some service. Okay, does it mean that the person is my spiritual master? Right? You're getting what I'm saying? Sometimes We may be actually accepting somebody as our spiritual master. But then if spiritual master doesn't want to accept us as a disciple, then how do we handle the situation? They discuss that, but they never actually ask Prabhupada that question. So I still am looking in other books if there is any conversation they had. Because these are very common questions that personality like Satsvaru Swami Maharaj, Tamil Krishna Maharaj asked Prabhupada. In Los Angeles, when Prabhupada actually was very sick, they asked Prabhupada this question, right now that you are trained as everything, what if you are no longer there? Who should we accept as spiritual master? And Prabhupada cried, early days, that is 72. Prabhupada cried and said, my spiritual master was a Vaikuntha man, and he saved me. Meaning, he said that I am also of that kind. I will save you, don't worry. You don't have to go and search for somebody else outside. I will provide you whatever is necessary. But this is something that we have to keep asking Krishna, keep asking Srila Prabhupada, please guide us, send us our spiritual master, because we don't know what, because that's very important. And without concocting is very important. Here, previous acharyas have laid down the principle. Many a times I have seen this happening even in ISKCON. There are two things, following the Shastras and being practical. Many a times we actually look for practical solutions. Don't look for practical solutions. Look what is Shastric solutions. Whatever the Shastra is saying, even if you do it imperfectly, Krishna will be pleased. But if you ignore the Shastric principle and do a practical solution for that, Krishna will not be pleased. Because you are concocting this on your own to make sure that it's working for you. That is not the solution. This is what actually this particular principle mentions this. Without attachment to ideas manufactured by mental concoction, then every one of your citizens will be happy and will love you. This is on the long run. Because they will start progressing in spiritual life. Purport, Lord Vishnu advised King Prithu that everyone should follow the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. Then, in whatever capacity one remains within this material world, his salvation is guaranteed after death. Whatever capacity one remains within this material world, imagine this. It's not that everyone has to come to the highest platform. In your capacity, you are a squirrel, you be sincere as a squirrel. He is Hanuman, he will be sincere as Hanuman. It is not that everyone has to come to the stage of Hanuman. This is the Varnashrama principle. It's far easier. His salvation is guaranteed after death. In this age, however, since the system of Varnashrama Dharma is topsy-turvy, it is very difficult to strictly follow all the principles. The only method for becoming perfect in this is to develop Krishna consciousness. Hari Bol. This is actually the underlying principle. Sometimes we say, why we are not following Varnashrama system if it's so easy? Problem is, it all conflicts with each other, some of the instructions. Very difficult to follow all the instructions which is mentioned. I asked this to Sarveshwar Prabhu, that is Bhaktivinoda Maharaj, some time back. Why is it that the Varnashrama system is difficult? He told me, are you coming in the bus to the temple? I said, yes. Do you know in temple, in the bus, all of them have taken a bath in the morning? I said, I don't know. Do you think actually people would have been contaminated either to illicit activities or somebody had died in their house? Do you think you are completely clean? I said, I don't know. This is the thing, because if you want to go in front of the temple, in front of the deities, you should be pakka clean. You should not be contaminated. If people are coming from outside in different parts of world, it's very difficult for them to be so clean. So there is one rule is broken. Then how will you follow Varnashram system? Is it? But in chanting a holy name, because Om Apavitra Pavitrova Sarva Vasagatopiva Et Smarete Pundarikaksham Sa Bhabayantra Suchihi. Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. By chanting the holy names of the Lord, internally, externally are cleaned. That is Krishna consciousness. If we simply chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, with affection to the Lord, right? Because of your mercy I can get purified, not mechanically. Then the Lord purifies us internally and externally. Immediately you get, even though you are not taken a bath, also you are qualified. Because the first time when I went to Mayapur, I saw there are people standing at the back. And the brahmachari said, don't go back. I didn't understand why. But there were many people standing there. Later on I came to know they are not taken a bath. They came inside to see Radha Madhav directly without taking a bath and brushing their teeth. I asked this question to the brahmachari, is it okay? He said, Prabhupada allowed. Just that you don't go and touch them. They will not attend the Tulsi Arati. But Prabhupada wanted everyone to attend the Mangala Arati. I didn't know all these things because I was not exposed to that. But in big temples, they'll allow. You can actually be at the back. Don't touch anybody, but you can take darshan of the Lord. Because the Lord is so purifying, His darshan is so purifying, internally, externally, if you simply chant the holy name of the Lord affectionately, you get cleaned. This extra thing is Varnashma based. That's the same thing Prabhupada would do. Prabhupada would actually take bath at 9:30 in the morning, not at Mangalarti time. He would do all this transition, go for morning walk, come back, and when the sun is little higher and then it's hot, he would take a bath. I just wondered, he is not following, this is the principle, because he's constantly Krishna conscious, he doesn't have to take any bath. This is Babaji level of, what do you call the situation. Getting it right? So, yeah, so this is not easy, so we just follow Krishna consciousness by chanting the holy name. As Varnashma Dharma is executed from different positions by different men, so the Krishna conscious principle can be followed by everyone in every part of the world. There is a specific purpose in mentioning herein that one should follow the Dvijagriyas, the most prominent Brahmanas like Parashara and Manu. These great sages have already given us instructions on how to live according to the principles of Varnashma Dharma. Similarly, Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami have given us rules and regulations for becoming pure devotees of the Lord. It is essential, therefore, to follow the instructions of the Acharyas in the Parampara system, who have received the knowledge as passed down from the spiritual master to disciple. In this way, although living in our material condition of life, we can get out of the entanglement of material contamination without leaving our positions. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises, therefore, that one does not have to change his position. One simply has to hear from the perfect source, this is called parampara, and follow the principles for practical application in life. Thus one can attain the highest perfection of life, liberation, and go back home, back to Godhead. In other words, the change required is a change in consciousness, not in the body. Unfortunately, in this fallen age, people are concerned with the body, not with the soul. They have invented so many isms pertaining to the body only, not to the soul. It's a very simple, straightforward explanation that you follow. Prabhupada mentioned this very clearly. If you don't follow all the principles I will laid down, someday in the all the paper, right, whenever you have to enroll to anything in this world, at least in India, they will ask you caste. Right? Prabhupada said you will write it as ISKCONite. This is not what I want. Because sometimes Prabhupada mentioned, even the Sri Vaishnavas and the Madhvacharya followers, right, they put it as Iyengars. It's a caste now. They don't follow all the principles. You go to any bakery here, they use egg for all these items, right? The bakery items. Where is Sri Vaishnava principle of adding egg and all is mentioned? Where is it mentioned? Why are they doing it then? That means they have fallen down the principle. They are no longer powerful. The forefathers may have been powerful, but this generation is not powerful. They can't deliver themselves. So this is what happens. Prabhupada said, if you don't follow, read my books and understand these things carefully, someday you will also write, caste is this, and I want another caste like this, girl from the same caste. Right? It will become very normal like that. Prabhupada did not want that. Prabhupada was very, very heavy on this point. In the modern age of democracy, there are so many government representatives voting for legislation. Every day they bring out a new law. But because these laws are only mental concoctions manufactured by inexperienced, conditioned souls, they cannot give relief to human society. Formerly, although the kings were autocrats, they strictly followed the principles laid down by great sages and saintly persons. There were no mistakes in ruling over the country, and everything went perfectly. The citizens were completely pious. The king levied taxes legitimately, and therefore the situation was very happy. At the present moment, the so-called executive heads are more or less selected from materially ambitious persons who simply look after their own personal interests. They have no knowledge of the Shastras. In other words, the executive heads are fools and rascals in the strict sense of the terms, and the people in general are Shudras. This combination of fools and rascals and Shudras cannot bring about peace and prosperity in this world. Therefore, we find periodic upheavals in society in the forms of battles, communal riots, and fratricidal quarrels. Under these circumstances, not only are the leaders unable to lead the people toward liberation, but they cannot even give them peace of mind. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that anyone who lives on concocted ideas without reference to the Shastras never becomes successful and does not attain happiness or liberation after death. So powerful statement, straightforward, that always look into the Shastras and get Shastric understanding about the situation, and don't just go for practical. See, practical things is already given by the previous acharyas. Just follow that situation. That is sufficient. And sometimes people mention that for every problem you'd say like Krishna Katha is the solution. Right? Sometimes that. But actually speaking, Krishna Katha gives us inspiration. Number one, Krishna from within, when he is happy, he will give you the solution. This in the Tamal Krishna Maharaj's book, The Final Days, it's mentioned that the devotees, because Prabhupada mentioned in one of the purports that this expressways are all there, right? Highways and all things. Is that the solution for solving the traffic problem? Right? People go at very fast, breakneck speed, right? Is that the solution for solving the problem of traffic? How do we solve it? Prabhupada said, I don't know. Then how do we tell them? Because you are telling for every problem, Krishna Katha is a solution. Prabhupada said, you do Krishna Katha, then Krishna, when he is inspired by your devotional service, is happy with your devotional service, he will give you the solution of how to solve such a problem. No one has actually thought about it so far, so I don't see anything coming up apart from only above the ground or under the ground, but I see everywhere they are just digging up and then putting it. But Prabhupada mentions that just like unless you make everyone devotees of the Lord, it's very difficult to manage the society. Prabhupada mentioned, just gives example, whenever they blow the conch, we all get up sometimes, right? Or imagine our spiritual masters are coming. Do we not line up? Somebody has to tell us that. We become very obedient to his, what is that he's trying to say. Same thing will happen. The king, if he manages to train everybody in a Krishna conscious way, they become very grateful. And they'll follow whatever the king tells. That's the only way to manage the entire society, and such a person can levy taxes and everything. They'll be willing to pay. Like just like our spiritual master asked to give some donations. He will not say no. Whatever is there, we will give something. Similarly, that's possible. So this is actually and it goes on after this, because this is a conversation between Maitreya Rishi, right? Maitreya Muni and Vidura. They are discussing this. This is all coming in that episode. Yeah, so that's a very important aspect, that Vishnu comes, tells Prithu Maharaj, and in telling Prithu Maharaj, he's telling all of us, this is how we have to live. Someday, because one devotee asked Prabhupada, what is the importance of telling about this leadership and all these things? Because we want to go back to Godhead. Why should we know about it? Prabhupada said, it's not for you. Right? But if general people wants to know, give me a solution of how to actually conduct the world and all, is there in Bhagavatam. Definitely there. Prithu Maharaj is there, and Prithu Maharaj explanations of how to handle situations are there. They can look into it, set up Varnashrama system. Prabhupada himself personally was not very confident that Varnashrama system can be really set in all parts of the world. Because some places are very cold. The rules that we are following about Varnashrama system is what is given in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. It is not the original Varnashrama system. We should understand this. Whatever is given by Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, the Devi Varnashrama, which is more or less Krishna consciousness. Right? Our principle is to please Krishna. Any activity we do, please Krishna. Not to just follow that particular principle for the sake of it. That is the attitude. Whereas in the original text of Varnashrama system, you simply follow the dharma. Blindly, like an ass, you still get benefit. That's not what our acharyas have told us. Yeah? I think we already exceeded time. Maybe I'll take one or two questions. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is all good for personal study. In a closed group, devotees can sit and then discuss. Very powerful. You can learn a lot more from these pages of Bhagavatam. I don't know how Prabhupada wrote all alone sitting, such wonderful purports, right? Many things actually, I wonder, like, did this all happen that time that Prabhupada had the experience? No. Many things came. There's one nice pastime which is there in the Radha Damodar Vilas, wherein Vishnujan Swami one day wanted to go and meet Prabhupada in the night. He was not able to sleep. He was chanting. He is a person, is like Prabhupada called him a Gandharva because he used to sing so sweetly. And in the night around 2 o'clock, he was not able to sleep. Somehow he was feeling disturbed. So he woke up and saw that Prabhupada might be doing the translation. Let me go and sit and hear what is happening. So the door was closed, and he went nearby. But the door outside, there was Prabhupada actually puts a night lamp in the night, very small lamp. But the light was so bright. The door, the light was actually coming out of the door. So much of light was there. He was shocked actually what was really happening, what is inside. Right? And Vishnujan Maharaj was saying, like, I was pinching myself and saying, like, I'm dreaming this. It is happening like this. And the moment actually thought, okay, it was so much, and the light was so pleasing for him. It was like, he was observing that, so very nice. And in the evening, next day morning, when he met Prabhupada, he asked him, Prabhupada, Yesterday night actually I didn't sleep, so I came and then sat outside. I felt there was so much of light coming from your room. And Prabhupada said, I knew that you were there outside. He didn't say anything more than that. Prabhupada knew everything. It was not that Prabhupada was doing something. And Prabhupada used to say that I cannot write books like this alone. The Lord only actually is, I'm just an instrument. He is written. Otherwise, why would someone who's written his own books read? Right? If I write a book, I know in and out of what is there. Why should I sit and read those books? Prabhupada would read his own books. He would read all these books and put it on his head and things like that. Why? Because Prabhupada says, I did not write this. The Lord has written these books. I am just an instrument. So these are so wonderful instructions that are given to us. We should be grateful every day to Prabhupada. And everything that we do, we should just show gratitude. Thank you, Prabhupada. If you are not come and not given these things, not given these devotees, it's because of Prabhupada only all the devotees come. No, otherwise how you'll be all alone in the world. Right? We read Prabhupada books, so many wonderful devotees have come all only because of Prabhupada. So you have to be grateful even if you meet a nice devotee. Yeah? I'll stop here. Any questions? Maybe one I can try. Sorry, I took a little more time. Hare Krishna.
Sometimes we pray for the mercy, but we are self-competent to follow some principle steadily.
Yeah.
Or trying to improve on that. So the question is, does when we pray for the mercy and Lord bless us, then we are able to apply these higher principles steadily, like attentive chanting and other things?
Yeah.
Or like when we put our endeavor, then Lord bless us mercy, like how the combination is?
Okay, so the question is sometimes we ourselves are not able to follow everything, so we ask for mercy for us to follow this. Now, it's a kind of a chicken and egg problem, right? Catch-22 position. You say, Sarva dharman pratyaja mamekam shadaja. Said you first remove all my karma, then I'll surrender to you. Krishna is saying, no, you first surrender to me, then I'll remove everything, right? Sometimes many people come and ask this question, like, Krishna is not doing anything. If you had given me a favorable situation, then maybe I would have followed everything. Look, that person actually has all the facilities. He has a car, he has a good family, he has everything which is expected. That's why he is able to do service. I don't have all these things. My spouse is not supportive. My house is not all that big. People actually come with complaints, right? Prabhupada would answer only one thing. Prabhupada always would say, in your sthane sita, in whatever condition you are in, do it. Sincerity is the main thing. It is not that everyone can come to the stage of Hanuman. You will remain spiritual all through your life, but still you are eligible to go back to Godhead. In your talent, God-given talent, in your capacity, serve. But these three principles are very, very important. Many a time you don't follow the third principle. Number one, Namaruchi. Cultivate your taste for holy name to the best of your capacity. Know that just because I wanted, Krishna will give it today. You have to actually show your greediness, but have patience. Keep doing it, chanting, whatever way you can in your level. Second, Vaishnava Seva, Vaishnava service, right? Serve the Vaishnavas by cooking, prasadam, everything, deity worship, all comes and helping each other. The third one is Jivadaya. Many a time we don't do this Jivadaya. Jivadaya really means bringing others into Krishna consciousness, helping the Lord to serve our previous acharyas by helping others to become Krishna conscious in whatever way. You can do this third one, these two things Krishna will give you easily. But many people actually stick in the second one, first one, and don't go to the third one, thinking that when I become perfect in the first two, I will touch the third one. No, Prabhupada actually gave that all three should go in parallel. Yeah? So when you pray to the Lord, tell them, I'm not able to chant Hare Krishna, but my spiritual master has told, Mahaprabhu has told, Yade Deko Tadeko Krishna Upadesh. So please help that person also become devotee. Please give your mercy to all of us. Keep praying like that, automatically the Lord will become pleased. First of all, you're taking care of yourself, and also you are praying for others. Very nice. I will give you that, like that. Otherwise, you are still selfish. That selfish is not bad. That is good only because you are asking for progressing Krishna consciousness. But that's not the perfect one Prabhupada wanted. Prabhupada would actually say, if people are going for Buddhist distribution, Prabhupada would say, please bless him. All of you, if you are Vaishnavas, you can pray to him. And then people say, we are not qualified. He said, Krishna will listen to your prayers. But that selfless attitude is actually preaching Jivadaya. Okay? Do that both together. Don't keep Jivadaya as something which I am not qualified and all. Everyone from day one should preach in your level, in your capacity. Don't go and tell them something like counselor would do. No. Yade Deko Tadeko Krishna Upadesh. That much everyone should do, must do. Okay? I don't know if that helped you. But that's what I have understood and try to follow. Yeah? Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you so much. We'll stop here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Next 1 or 2 weeks we have wonderful time because of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came here to deliver all the fallen conditioned souls. We'll help each other become Krishna conscious. Whatever you can do to please Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is very happy if you bring one more soul towards his lotus feet. Because they are the ones who are delivering. We are not the ones who are delivering. But they want new people. All the time they want new people. They become more active. Especially Nityananda Prabhu becomes more active when he sees new people. So the more new people are there, they are happy. That's the way we can make them happy. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.